This week on the Weekly Pinch from Pinch News.
Ending the day with this reality that you can have officers nearby. We had officers who ran towards the threat, and God bless them for doing so. But that there are still 24, almost, that are in hospital rooms, one dead, after an incident like that. That's what gives me grave concern, not just as myself, but frankly as a parent in this country.
Two juveniles charged in shooting at KC Chiefs parade.
Ukraine claims critical strike on Russian warship.
Tom Suozzi wins special election. Democrats gain House seat. House impeaches U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas in historic vote. Sally Beauty unites HBCU students with Black Beauty founders through inaugural Rooted in Success event series. 2024 NCAA Tournament Top 16 seed reveal.
We have brought bribery and extortion charges against 70 current and former employees of the New York City Housing Authority, otherwise known as NYCHA.
70 New York City housing workers charged in largest bribery scheme in DOJ history.
Trump ordered to pay $355 million in New York fraud case.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment. We had over 800 law enforcement officers, Kansas City and other agencies, at the location to keep everyone safe. Because of bad actors, which were very few, this tragedy occurred, even in the presence of uniformed law enforcement officers, who again ran towards them and took them into custody.
Two juveniles have been charged in connection with the shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rally, authorities confirmed on Friday. The Jackson County Family Court announced that the juveniles are being held in detention on gun-related and resisting arrest charges. Further charges are expected as the investigation progresses. The shooting, which occurred outside Union Station, left 22 others injured and KKFIFM, Taste of Tejano, host Lisa Lopez Galvan dead. Despite the presence of over 800 police officers, the violence erupted, prompting a scramble for safety among attendees. Meanwhile, the city is grappling with the aftermath of the tragedy as officials consider the implications for future events like the upcoming St. Patrick's Day parade. In the wake of the shooting, the community has rallied together, with individuals and public figures, including Taylor Swift, offering support and donations to the deceased victim and her family.
A big Russian amphibious ship, the Caesar Kunikov, has sunk off the coast of Russian-occupied Crimea, according to Ukraine's armed forces. The landing ship was attacked using naval drones, a report that Russia has not confirmed. The Caesar Kunikov sank near Alupka, a city on the southern edge of the Crimean Peninsula that Moscow annexed in 2014, Ukraine's general staff said. Powerful explosions were heard early on Wednesday, according to local social media. It said the ship can carry 87 crew members. The strike came as Kyiv's new military chief toured the front lines, describing the situation as complex. Ukraine's intelligence directorate released a video of what it said were Magura V-5C drones striking the ship. The Magura V-5 drone, which looks like a sleek black speedboat, was unveiled last year. It reportedly has a top speed of 42 knots, 50 miles per hour, and a payload of 700 pounds. Ukraine has repeatedly hit Russia's Black Sea Fleet in occupied Crimea. Pushing Russian ships out of the sea's western waters has helped push Moscow's naval forces back from the coast, allowing Kyiv to increase crucial exports of grain and other goods through its southern ports. Caesar Kunikov, for whom the Russian vessel was named, was a World War II hero of the Soviet Union. He died on February 14th, the same day as the Ukrainian drone strike in 1943.
Despite the dirty tricks, despite the vaunted Nassau County Republican machine, we won.
Democratic former Representative Tom Suozzi's victory in New York's 3rd District special election narrows the GOP's House majority by 1 seat. Despite a winter storm, Suozzi capitalized on early voting and name recognition, resonating with voters on key issues like abortion and immigration. The win is a setback for the Nassau County GOP and adds pressure on Republicans in the House to seek compromises with Democrats. The campaign saw intense focus on immigration and abortion, with Suozzi countering attacks and Democrats leveraging Phillip's stance. Suozzi's deep ties to the district and political resilience contributed to his win. Looking ahead, Suozzi and Phillip may face off again in November, pending redistricting changes. Former Representative George Santos, who held the seat, was expelled in December after an ethics report discovered that he misused campaign funds.
On this vote, the yeas are 214 and the nays are 213. The resolution is adopted.
The U.S. House of Representatives voted to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over the Biden administration's handling of the U.S.-Mexico border, marking the first time a cabinet secretary has faced such charges in nearly 150 years. The impeachment, passed with a narrow margin of 214 to 213, saw dissent even within the Republican majority. President Biden criticized the move, calling it unconstitutional partisanship. The charges against Mayorkas, centered on immigration policies, are seen by some as a political maneuver rather than a response to high crimes. Despite the House's action, Senate interest in the matter appears low, potentially leading to indefinite shelving. Mayorkas's impeachment is part of broader Republican efforts to target Biden administration officials. The border issue has become a key campaign topic, with former President Trump promising a significant deportation operation if he returns to office. However, legislative efforts in the House to address border security have faced challenges, including rejection of a bipartisan Senate package. Mayorkas's impeachment is a controversial moment in political history and will likely warrant implications for future administration officials with the ongoing debate over immigration policy. Sally Beauty has announced a partnership with the Black Hair Experience to launch the Rooted in Success event series, aiming to celebrate and uplift black hair and culture. The initiative will commence with events during Black History Month and Women's History Month, focusing on engaging historically black colleges and universities, HBCU, students, entrepreneurs, and consumers. Sally Beauty emphasizes its commitment to the textured hair community by carrying a diverse range of brands, including over 50 Black-owned or founded ones. The collaboration with the Black Hair Experience aims to amplify the voices of textured hair innovators and leaders, providing resources and networking opportunities. The initiative will kick off with pop-up events in Atlanta and Washington, D.C., offering founder-led stories and discounted access to products for HBCU students nationwide. John Goss, president of Sally Beauty, highlights the company's dedication to facilitating connections and inspiring the next generation of consumers and entrepreneurs in the beauty industry. Sally Beauty also is offering active HBCU-enrolled students a 10% discount this spring, both online and in-store. The retailer debuted free on-demand digital hair coloring consultations in December 2023. In a preview 3 weeks ahead of Selection Sunday, the NCAA Division I Men's Basketball Committee ranked Purdue, UConn, Houston, and Arizona as the number 1 seeds. This marks the first time in committee history that the top 4 seeds were voted in that order by every member. The number 2 seeds include North Carolina, Tennessee, Marquette, and Kansas, while the number 3 and number 4 seeds feature teams like Alabama, Baylor, Iowa State, Duke, Auburn, San Diego State, Illinois, and Wisconsin. Historically, teams included in the top 16 during the preview tend to remain among the top 4 seeds, with 83% retention since the preview began in 2017. Selection Sunday is scheduled for March 17th, with the 68-team bracket and field announced on CBS at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The current setup aligns geographically well, with each region featuring a top seed from different conferences. However, there's potential for shifts, particularly regarding the final number 1 seed, where Arizona's position might be challenged by teams like North Carolina, Tennessee, or Marquette. Additionally, the committee's recognition of the ACC, with North Carolina as the top number 2 seed despite metrics placing them behind other teams, suggests respect for the conference's strength. NCAA Top 16. 1. Purdue. 2. UConn. 3. Houston. 4. Arizona. 5. North Carolina. 6. Tennessee. 7. Marquette. 8. Kansas. 9. Alabama. 10. Baylor. 11. Iowa State. 12. Duke. 13. Auburn. 14. San Diego State. 15. Illinois. 16. Wisconsin.
Today I'm announcing the largest single-day bribery takedown in the history of the Justice Department.
According to federal prosecutors, at least 70 New York City public housing employees were charged with accepting kickbacks in exchange for city contracts. The arrests occurred in 6 states and 5 boroughs. The employees included superintendents and assistant superintendents of nearly 100 New York City public housing buildings. The employees accepted $2 million in bribes from contractors in exchange for small contract jobs. According to the Department of Justice, the scandal is one of the largest in the department's history. The bribes started in 2013 and ran for a decade. Contractors who failed to pay the bribes were denied work. An investigation found that the scheme drove up the costs of minor repairs and diverted much-needed funds from the public housing sector. Officials are concerned that the scheme has completely eroded the trust of public housing residents.
A New York judge has ordered former President Trump to pay nearly $355 million in penalties in a civil fraud case, dealing a significant blow to his family's business empire. The decision follows a lawsuit filed by New York Attorney General Letitia James, alleging that Trump falsely inflated his net worth on financial statements to obtain tax and insurance benefits. Judge Arthur Engeron found Trump, the Trump Organization, and several executives, including his sons and former CFO, liable for fraud. Trump's sons, Donald and Eric, were ordered to pay more than $4 million each, and ex-CFO, Alan Weisselberg, was ordered to pay $1 million. Weisselberg was also barred from life from serving in the financial control function of any New York corporation or business. The ruling prohibits Trump from participating in New York business for 3 years and imposes significant fines on him and his associates. Despite Trump's legal team's argument that there was no fraud, the judge's early ruling on Trump's fraud liability set a contentious tone throughout the trial. Trump's financial standing could suffer a substantial hit, with estimates suggesting he stands to lose over 13% of his estimated net worth. Trump had also previously received another $83.3 million judgment against him for defaming writer E. Jean Carroll after denying accusations that he sexually assaulted her decades earlier. As legal fees mount and appeals in civil cases begin, Trump faces ongoing challenges in addressing his legal issues. That wraps up all of the news from the Weekly Pinch. Tune in next week for more. In the meantime, visit us online at www.pinchnews.com.